Welcome to the certificate course on reproductive health education. In today's class, let us discuss on reproductive system. What is the reproductive system? The reproductive systems in both the male and female consist of primary and secondary sex organs and sex glands. The primary function of the reproductive system is to perpetuate the species through sexual or germ cell fertilization and reproduction. Let's look at some of the structures of the female reproductive system. The uterus. The uterus is a hollow, muscular, pear-shaped organ about the size of a woman's clenched fist. The top is tipped forward in a normal anteflexion position. It can be divided into the body or corpus and the bottom cervix. The rounded top portion above the fallopian tubes is called the fundus. The uterus is supported and held in position by a number of ligaments. Trauma, disease, or multiple pregnancies can weaken these ligaments and result in abnormal positioning. The uterus wall has three layers. The outside, the layer is called the perimetrium. The muscular inside layer is called the myometrium, and the mucous membrane lining the uterus called the endometrium. The cervical opening is about the diameter of a pencil. The uterus has three functions. The endometrium sheds the lining of the uterus every 21 to 40 days by menstruation. It provides a place for the protection and nourishment of the fetus during pregnancy. Even it contracts during labor to expel the fetus. The fallopian tubes. The structure of fallopian tubes showing tube widens to form an ampulla. We could see the end of tube is called infundibulum. The tip of the infundibulum could be seen opening, that is called the opening. It's called the ostium. The fimbriae are the finger-like projections around the opening that trap the egg as it leaves the ovary, and the isthmus is the position that connects to the uterus. The fallopian tube is 4 to 6 inches long. The egg released from the ovary is captured by the fimbria and brought into the fallopian tube. The egg is moved along inside the tube by muscular contraction and the waving action of cilia. It takes an egg about 3 to 4 days to travel the length of the tube. If an egg is fertilized, it occurs here. The ovaries. The two ovaries are attached to each side of the uterus by a ligament. They are oval-shaped, about the size of a large olive, and lie close to the fimbriae at the end of the fallopian tubes. Each ovary is filled already at birth with egg-containing sacs called follicles. Each egg is called an ova. The ovaries and ova. Once every 21 days, one follicle in one ovary ripens. This mature follicle is a Graafian follicle. The follicle ruptures in response to hormones from the pituitary gland, releasing the ovum or the egg. This process can be called as ovulation. After the follicle ruptures, it becomes a mass of yellow cells called the corpus luteum. This is a temporary progesterone producing structure. The vagina. The vagina extends from the cervix to the outside of the body. It is 3 to 3.5 inch long muscular tube that expands in length and width during sexual arousal. The vagina is the female organ for copulation, it means sexual intercourse, to receiving the seminal fluid from the male penis. It is also a passageway for menstruation or the birth of a fetus. The vulva. The vulva is five organs making up the external genitalia of the female. Mons pubis, triangular shaped pad of fatty tissue over the pubis bone covered with pubic hair. Labia majora, two large folds of adipose tissue on the sides of the vaginal opening. Labia minora, two smaller folds of adipose tissue on the inside of the labia majora. Vestibule, area between labia with openings for the vagina. Urethra and two excretory ducts of Bartholin's glands. It provides lubricant. Clitoris, sensitive fold of tissue partially covered by hood. The superior and anterior portion of the labia minora come together to encircle the clitoris. This is an organ that originates from the same cells as the glands of penis and has abundant nerves that make it important in sexual sensation and orgasm. The hymen is a thin membrane that sometimes partially covers the entrance to the vagina. An intact hymen cannot be used as an indication of virginity. Even at birth, this is only a partial membrane as menstrual fluid and other secretions must be able to exit the body regardless of penile vaginal intercourse. The vaginal opening is located between the opening of the urethra and the anus. It is flanked by outlet to the Barth- Bartholin's gland, or this is also called as the greater vestibular glands, which provide lubricant. The perineum is the area located between the vaginal opening and the anus. It is a muscular sheet that can be torn during childbirth. Some doctors avoid uncontrolled tearing of the perineum by making a surgical incision called an episiotomy. Episiotomy. Next, the breasts. The breasts are the mammary glands varying in size according to age, heredity, and the amount of fatty tissue present. Each breast has 15 to 20 glandular lobes separated by connective tissue. After childbirth, the pituitary gland stimulates these lobules with the hormone prolactin and they produce milk. The dark colored circle at the tip of the breast is called the areola. It contains sebaceous glands to keep the skin conditioned. In the center is the nipple where ducts from the lobules open. The first secretion from the breast is not a true milk but a thin yellowish substance called colostrum. Colostrum contains nutrients and the mother's immunities that can protect the baby. With this, I'm concluding today's session. See you in the next session. Thank you.